Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back!
Of course. Like, you can't fucking, can't get rid of him. Can't live without him.
Can't live without me, can't live with me.
Welcome back to another episode of Improv Gaming.
Thanks for having me, Nick.
Shut up, Pete. I'm trying to do the intro here. And my concern is that Bethesda might be going down a dark path. So, let me know what you think. Or we'll let you know what we think after this. Ladies and gentlemen, Bethesda is releasing a difficulty mode as a paid mod. Oh, yeah, some big shit, right?
The light bulb just went off in my head.
He was just like, holy shit, all right. He's like, I was not expecting this.
Tell me more.
All right, so Bethesda, this has been a mod that's been in the community for quite a while. It's a difficulty mod that puts Skyrim in survival mode. So the amount that you're allowed to carry is halved. The difficulty of playing, or the map is separated into zones of different climates, and depending on which climate you're in, you have to wear a specific time of gear to keep warm.
So like
or to
Legend of
keep
Zelda.
Cool. Yeah, kind of like Legend of
So
Zelda.
like Legend of Zelda.
Well, there's no survival mode in Legend of Zelda. It just is.
It's called the
It just
Trials
is.
of the
You don't get
Master Sword.
hungry in Legend of Zelda.
Well, you can eat to
You
restore
don't
your
get
hearts.
hungry in Legend of Zelda.
have to eat
You
hearts.
actually get
You have to eat
fatigue
hearts
from hunger in Skyrim. So it's not like
You ever
Legend of Zelda.
seen Link?
You can't
A boy needs to eat.
You
Boy
can't
needs
just
to
you
eat.
can't just climb whatever fucking mountain you have. You have to take the path. All right. So it's not like Legend of Zelda, but they are attempting to kind of bridge that gap. I'll give you that much. They are attempting to bridge that gap, but this kind of spells kind of a disaster zone, right? Like I'm starting to see Bethesda going down kind of a dark path. In terms of they've always been this very gamer-friendly, gamer-centric company, and now we're seeing this. Now, the reason I say that is only to say the counter, right? To me, there's a certain line that you have to draw in the sand before something becomes paid, or is released for free, right? So the question that I want to pose to you guys is survival mode enough of a game changer for Skyrim for it to be a paid mod?
No.
No? So you don't think that changes up the dynamics enough for it to be, because you have to conserve your resources, you have to pick up only the important things?
No.
No?
But I would love to, because of Fallout, you're supposed to be surviving the wastelands.
Yeah, yeah.
That's something that should have been in the game to begin with.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, eventually they're probably going to put this out for Fallout 4 because it's pretty much the same engine.
But like you're saying, it's going to be a paid thing. It should have been in the game anyway. Survival. You need to eat to survive. You need to, do those things to survive. It should have been there anyway.
Okay, all right.
So now you're going to be like, well, if you want the realist experience, you have to pay for it.
Especially if you want to play Fallout 4 in VR, where you get the extremely real experience. And now it's like you have to pay for this survival mode.
Give me more money. Yeah.
What about you, Pete? Do you think that this is enough of a game changer for it to be a paid mod?
Absolutely not.
No?
I think, just so you know, I platinum Skyrim the other day. It's not a big deal.
Never even played the game before. Platinumed it, though.
No, I think, Bethesda has been good with, I bring up the Nintendo Switch, porting over these big titles over to Switch. It's like, hey, we're showing love to somebody that doesn't normally get love, Here is the Fallout Game of the Year Holy Shit Edition with all the DLC and everything. It's like, it's only $40 or $50. Cool. I was even talking to Joe about picking it up because I was like, I should try a Fallout. But to charge for basically a difficulty, that's what it is. It's, that's messed up because it could have been something where it's like easy, normal, hard, and then survival where everything's cut down. Like, cool.
Well, you got to remember, this is a mod, right? So it was made after the game.
Yeah, I get that.
Years after the game. So they couldn't have just released it if they didn't even think about making it.
But what they have now in Fallout, as soon as you go on and now this list, continue, new game, mod. So it's there already. So all different mods, creation clubs, all there anyway.
Do you have how much the mod is? Do you know offhand?
Offhand, I do not know. Let me look it up while you continue with what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
If it's more than $1, it wouldn't be worth it.
I mean, I would go maybe like $5, but if you're looking at like the 10 and higher mark for a difficulty, yeah, it might add a new experience. Like with anything, like any game that you change it up will drastically change. If you play Call of Duty on Veteran, it's much different from Call of Duty on Recruit because.
But the difference is the game isn't changing. Like, okay, so now they add that on there. Like, okay, you got to wear different clothes, so now you got to wear armor instead of a jumpsuit for per se
I get
Fallout. Now you have to sleep instead of not sleeping. It's not changing anything else besides the fact that you maybe got to change up your style a little bit. You know, you could right now in Fallout you could literally whatever you wanted to. You could play the whole game in your vault suit. You could play the whole game in power armor.
So do you think it's wrong that Nintendo first did this when they charged?
So it's
for
$8.
their
$8.
$8.
It looks like it's going to be $8 to $15, depending on, I guess your user
If they put
ID
stuff
or
with
something
it,
like that.
Sure. But if it's just to add a harder
See-
difficulty, that's not going to change the actual game. Besides the the landscape of it.
That brings up my next point. Zelda, the Breath of the Wild, did a DLC. Their first DLC had the Master Trials, but they also had hard mode. And you had to pay for a harder mode in Zelda. However, you did get the Master Trials, which led to hours of more gameplay to update your Master Sword,
Yeah, yeah.
And you have the second DLC
Which is supposed to be much bigger.
which is much bigger, its own story, more dungeons and stuff. And they put the two together, and I think it cost me $20. So you're looking at 10 per DLC. So you're saying this is basically 8 to 15, so it's in the round. But if they just do the mode as just survival mode, cool. Like what else? It would be
But
it
like
would be
you were
more
saying,
inclined to have something more.
You got the Zelda one, and it helped you build your Master Sword. And
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you
There
did.
was
This
add-on.
is
This is just the difficulty level. No,
oh,
I get what
wow,
you're
my
saying.
game got harder. I need to
Yeah, yeah.
rationalize using my resources. That's about it.
Yeah.
So I don't think Nintendo caught flack for that because
Well, I think that they were catching flack, right? Like the big controversy was there's a paywall before I get to hardwall. Regardless of what you're giving me with this, it's still a paywall behind difficulty level. There was a lot of flack that Nintendo had to catch for that. But I think Nintendo's business practice was they're gonna buy it anyway, so everybody's gonna get the hard mode. We're just releasing it with this because we didn't get it ready yet. The math wasn't working out right. So I think their idea was everybody's buying this. Everybody's getting it. Like, I think Nintendo kind of fully fucking understood that Zelda was going to sell the shit out of the Nintendo Switch. I think so. Because they were really banking on Zelda selling the shit out of Nintendo Switch. So if they were doing that, they're like, everybody that owns a Switch is going to get this game. They're probably going to get the fucking DLC. Especially if we group it together, $20 for 2 DLCs, and that's the only way you can get it. You can't just buy one or the other. They're gonna get this hard mode. All we're doing is just putting it in there with the hard mode with the other downloads, just because we haven't gotten it ready. That's I want to still play. Nintendo's still being a good guy, and the same thing with Bethesda. That's why I'm asking this question, because if it's not a game changer, if it doesn't change my experience of Skyrim so much so that I think of Skyrim as a completely different game after going through this, then it's not worth the amount of money. But if it does, then maybe it is, because the experience is what we're paying for whenever we buy video games, right? So how much of that is monetary and how much of that is just content? Well, a lot of it is content, but if you can change the game up by adding one new feature that's very easy to make, maybe there's a monetary value to the experience that I'm going to have with that. And that's where I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. Like, is Bethesda going down a dark path? Because we have seen kind of Bethesda doing things that are more along the lines of the industry doing things, right? You've got standalone DLC with Death of the Outsider, paid DLC, essentially, or paid standalone DLC, if you want to call it that. With Death of the Outsider, you've got this mod coming up that's going to be paid through the Creation Club. You've got a couple of things that they're doing that it's like, whoa, what are you doing, Bethesda? Because you're supposed to be the good guy. You're supposed to be, we've always thought of you as the good guy, and now you're taking these steps that that a lot of gamers resent about the industry, and you're doing these things, And I was I was debating this not with a friend but internally, and then we kind of got into a conversation about Bethesda versus other companies and how much Bethesda's a good guy. That's why I was on the fence, or I was very much like fuck that. It's a difficulty setting. But then I got into this conversation about how Bethesda was a good guy with a friend of mine. And it was like, okay, well, yeah, that's true. Bethesda has always played like the good guy in gaming. Like they do the right thing by gamers. So maybe they've seen this mod as this completely changes the experience. Like this makes Skyrim a completely different game.
Different thing, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Skyrim is a completely different game when you have to take into account that it's a survival mode, where you have to take into account the stuff that you're wearing, where you have to take into account that you need to eat, and you get status ailments for not eating or not resting or being in a cold climate or not picking up the important stuff instead of picking up everything so you can sell it. You know what I'm saying? Like it completely changes. Maybe it completely changes the game so much so that it's like you shouldn't even call it Skyrim anymore. You should call it something else.
Skyrim survival mode.
Yeah, maybe like you should have tagged this as something else completely.
Elder Scrolls 6
There
survival
are
mode.
the two different ways, because then the other way would be, okay, game we're all playing in Destiny right now. Destiny, normal Nightfall, it's hard. None of us are running to play Nightfall on prestige mode because we have a hard enough time with normal mode. So now what if the Destiny was like, well, we're going to charge you $8 to get a third mode. We're not even playing the second mode.
Yeah.
So if it's just that way, it's definitely not worth it for, let me pay a couple more bucks.
Yeah, just for the enemies to hit harder. But this isn't just that the enemies hit harder, right? They're all hitting the same, but it's changing the way that you have to think about your resources and your gameplay and whether or not you go to the Imperial Castle versus,
Like I said in the beginning, though, I feel like that should have been something that was already in Fallout anyway.
Okay.
Surviving.
Yeah.
It's a game based on survival.
So if they came out with the new Elder Scrolls, you would say it better be included.
Pretty much. If you're gonna put this out now and be like, hey, it's another $8 to $15 for you to get this for this game, when the next game comes out,
it better be
already
included.
Be in there.
Okay. All right. I can go with that. I could go with that. If
you're gonna
Bethesda's
put
really
out,
going to be the
you
good
have
guy, if the Bethesda's going to be the good guy, okay, fine. Let me see what this is like. And then when you guys announce the next Skyrim, all of a sudden it's like with survival mode included. All of a sudden it becomes, oh shit, all right. Now they're playing the good guy. If they're just testing the market with this to see if it's okay, I can kind of, I can get it. All right, okay. I can kind of get behind that. All right, maybe Bethesda's not going in such a dark place.
Well, it's going to take somebody to play it to know, And
Yeah.
I don't even mean us, somebody that you a trusted source.
Yeah.
Hey, I played this game on the survival difficulty. It's definitely worth your $8.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go.
So
see what this is all
you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Joe is saying to check out the comments below and let us know in the future if you've played Skyrim survival mode and if it is actually worth the price. If it does change the experience enough for you to be digging that price. I was looking at your shirt.
Like that?
Yeah, no.
It stands to reason.
What stands to reason?
The shirt.
The shirt?
Does.
Yeah.
Personify.
I know.
Thank
I
you,
know.
sir.
I'm pretty sure we all do. I'm pretty sure you're not any different. You're not special, Pete.
Never.
Okay. So if you like what you saw, hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button.
Subscribe. I just subscribed.
Did you?
Yes.
Did you like what you saw? Or did you want to see more?
I want to see more. Tell me more.
Well, if you want to see more, we changed the format of our show.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Now we have casual conversations, ladies and gentlemen, intermediaries between our shows. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we have casual conversations, little snippets, little 15 minutes.
Perfect
and every
for a
Tuesday,
break.
Perfect for a break. Thanks, Pete. And every Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, we have our regular improv gaming. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, game on.
I'm Pete, by the way. That's Nick. That's Joe.